afternoon, everybody. I'm Kevin Eschenfelder, joined this afternoon by the #1 women's professional player in the world, Lynn Adams. We're going to take a look at the women's finals, the men's finals, and we're going to also get a chance to look at some of the racquetball competition for the players in the wheelchairs. But first, let's talk about the women. The #1 seed coming in, Michelle Gilman. Boy, she has been on a roll. She'll take on Toni Bevelock.
It's going to be a tough match. Both players have expressed that they really don't want to lose to the other player. But Michelle's power can be overwhelming at times. She is to the women's game what Egan is to the men's game, and that she just hits the tar out of the ball.
You see how these players got to the competition this afternoon. Really, Gilman with a much easier road. You see, Bevelock, she had some problems yesterday with Jackie Paraiso.
Well, Jackie is notorious for getting the ball a lot, and I think that it really frustrated Toni that she was making great shots, but then Jackie kept getting them. So she had to push quite a bit, while Michelle just kind of cruised along.
Well, Michelle Gilman, she has been on a roll, as I said. She hasn't lost all year long. We got a chance to catch up with her earlier this afternoon. Here's what she had to say about today's finals.
To reach the finals today, I had to defeat Randy Friedman, Malia Bailey, and Kay Kufeld. In the finals today, in order to beat Toni, I need to concentrate on my strengths, which is my serving, and also my killing ability. I need to make sure that I keep her in the backcourt and make sure that I'm moving her well because she's a little bit slow, and concentrate on hitting the ball to her forehand, which is her weaker side. Toni's strengths are definitely her backhand and her serving, and her pinching is also very well on the left-hand side. I need to make sure that I play my best to win this match.
No doubt Toni Bevelock, she will be the underdog this afternoon, but we got a chance to talk to her as well, and like she says, anything can happen in the finals.
To reach the finals, I felt I had to play really mentally tough and keep my composure, and I have a great desire to win this tournament, so I really felt that helped me get through all the tough matches to get here. And today what I'm going to do against Michelle is really try and play relaxed and take all my opportunities. Michelle's a very tough player. She hits the ball very hard and has a lot of good serves. But I'm going to try to neutralize that and just play my game.
All right, the scene is set. The women's finals is coming up when we come back. Welcome back to the downtown YMCA in Houston, Texas. Women's singles finals getting set to get underway. Toni Bevelock and Michelle Gilman. Here you take a look at Toni Bevelock, 24-year-old, lives in Santa Ana, California.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a California girl.
You bet.
Michelle Gilman, and she has been on a roll. 19 years old, out of Ontario, Oregon. She is a college freshman at Boise State. And she has had a great deal of success, not only on the amateur circuit, but starting out here in the pros as well, on the pro circuit.
She played her rookie season this year, made every tournament, and she ended up as the #2 player. I think it's the most impressive ending to a rookie season that any player has had up to this point in the women's professional game.
But still not #1.
No.
And that is...
She's close, but not quite yet.
The honor is saved for the lady sitting to my left.
I don't know. I'm waiting.
And I think we're about ready to get underway. Otto Dietrich, the referee for this afternoon's match.
And he looks great, doesn't he? He's got a tie on and a jacket.
It's amazing what television will do to Otto. There he is.
And have also earned the right to compete in the U.S. Olympic Festival to be held in Minneapolis this July. However, only one of these athletes will leave this tournament as the U.S. national champion. Now I'd like to introduce the players. Serving first from Santa Ana, California, will be Toni Bevelock. Receiving first will be the defending national champion from Ontario, Oregon, Michelle Gilman. This match will consist of 2 games played at 15 points, and should each player win a game, a third tiebreaker game will be played to 11 points. Each player is allowed 3 timeouts and 3 appeals during each game. Are we ready, players? Let's play ball.
So the scene is set. Otto Dietrich gets all of the...
This is Toni Bevelock serving first.
Particulars in order, and Toni Bevelock is getting set to serve and start it off. The women's finals.
Point.
And Bevelock scores first.
There's probably a lot of nervous stomachs out there, and it might take them a little bit of time to settle down and get into their flow of the style that they play.
Side out.
Nice pass and the side out.
This is Michelle Gilman.
Could you pick a strongest part of Gilman's game? Is it the serve? Is there any way to single anything out? Everything seems to be so good.
Well, her power definitely is something that the players aren't used to seeing. She's definitely the strongest woman that's coming along in all these years. And you don't know how hard she hits it until you're actually out on the court with her. And she's just strong from all areas.
1-1.
Score is 1, serving 1.
Michelle Gilman to serve. Side out. Back to Bevelock. Tony yesterday defeated Jackie Pareso.
Score is 1.
15-8, 15-12.
Now, that second game was real tight. There was a couple disputes at the end there that made everyone a little nervous. You're going to see a lot of that today. Michelle is just going to pound on Tony's forehand.
1, serving 1.
1-1. Gilman to serve.
Skip. Point. Score is 2.
2-1.
1. Second serve.
Of course, the serve has to clear the second line from the front. And that serve short. Side out, back to Bevelock.
Score is 1, serving 2.
Gilman leads 2-1. Bevelock to serve, short.
Second serve.
The high serve like that, is that more of a positioning type of deal? You want to get back into the offensive?
Well, a lot of times the reason a player will put up a lob serve, especially on a second service, is to get into the rally.
Take a look at it here.
Well, there's a setup right there, and she just put it right in the middle of the court. That was definitely an unforced error on Tony's part. Good serve.
Put it right in the corner.
Yeah.
Now Gilman leads 3-1.
Scores 3.
Game 1.
Serving 1.
We played best 2 out of 3.
To 15 points.
I was waiting for you to finish my sentence there.
Point.
The tiebreaker goes to 11, and everything is 1 by 1. At this level of play, the skill level is so high that if you put a serve off of the back wall, you usually will end up losing that rally. You put yourself on the defense real fast. That's why a lot of players go to that lob serve on the second serve.
Now, on the international level, it's a little bit different as far as the tiebreaker, because it goes to 15. You played 3 games to 15.
To 15.
It makes it, that's a lot of racquetball.
Well, see, I wasn't aware of that.
You learned something
That was
today from
excellent, Kevin.
I do my best. Serve back to Bevelock.
There's that lob serve to Tony's forehand.
She put it away.
Yes, she did.
It's Tony Bevelock serving the first game. Scores 1, serving 4.
So Gilman leads 4-1. Bevelock to serve. Second serve coming.
Second serve.
See, I did my homework.
Ooh, big skip. It's one of the things when you hit with power. Your kill shots are big and your skips are big.
Scores 2, serving 4.
2-4.
of skips from Michelle. This is pretty uncharacteristic. You don't see her skipping the ball that much. It's, she might be a little nervous, feeling some pressure here that she's supposed to win this.
I was going to ask you, it may take a little while to get the
jitters out.
Yeah. Although you would think Gilman would be just as comfortable as Bevelock, although she is younger. She is. She's been here before.
You know, once you win, it's a whole different ball game, because then you expect yourself to win, other people expect you to win, and it's a whole different pressure. And it's new to Michelle, that pressure. That was a nice ace serve.
Score is 5, serving 3.
So 5-3. Michelle Gilman is leading it right now as she serves.
Second serve.
Female Athlete of the Year, 1990. Well deserved.
She gave a speech the other night at the banquet, and she was wearing this dress that was off the shoulders, very pretty. She looked great. She said, though, she was more nervous about giving the speech than she was about playing the match.
Score is 6, serving 3.
6-3. Michelle Gilman leading. She is really, like you hit the nail on the head earlier, she's really going to the forehand.
Well, it's pretty much the book on Tony, that Tony's backhand is so tough, and she can do so many things with it, and her forehand is definitely her weakness.
Point.
Right now, Gilman having her way.
Score is 7, serving 3.
Tony just took a timeout. That was a good call. So Michelle scored a couple unanswered points. You don't want to let a player do that. You want to break that momentum right away.
Well, there's a timeout. We'll take this timeout with them. It's Echelon U.S. National Singles Finals. Michelle Gilman leads Tony Bevelock 7-3. We'll be back in a moment. Back at the downtown YMCA in Houston, Texas. Michelle Gilman leading Tony Bevelock 7-3. Game 1 of the women's singles finals. Gilman to serve.
Second serve.
I have not seen her serve to Bevelock's backhand yet.
Michelle is an extremely disciplined player. She sets a game plan and she sticks to it. I was talking to her and her dad last night, and he was saying that is one of the things that she's learned from a very early age.
Bevelock,
to be that disciplined.
Bevelock, the powerful forehand here, though.
Hold on a second.
And just past Michelle.
Good shot, Tony.
As resume play, Tony Bevelock serving scores 3, serving 7.
Bevelock serving 3-7. Game 1.
Because the other part of the game plan is to take advantage of Tony's lack of foot speed and pinch the ball a lot, because that moves a player up and back, which obviously is a farther way to run than side to side. There's where that game plan comes in real good, because you serve, forehand, 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 and then all of a sudden you throw into the backhand and it's weaker than it would have normally been.
8, serving 3.
Ooh, there's that tough backhand that everybody talks about.
Bevelock with the side out. Gilman leading 8-3.
Score is 3, serving 8.
Right on the wall.
Put it right where it needed to be.
Yeah. It's tough on glass sometimes. The ball and the glass kind of meld together and you lose it.
Man, boy, you got
that was a great angle.
Coming right into the living room.
4, serving 8.
That one, though, with the lob serve, it almost is, if you're going to have the lob serve, you got to put it where it needs to go, because you're automatically on the defensive if you don't.
Yeah, what you want them to put the lob serve to the ceiling is what you want. So if you come up short like that, then they're just pounding it on you.
Point. Scores 9, serving 4.
Michelle Gilman serving, leading 9-3.
I think the score is 9-4. But actually, no, it's not 9-4. It's 10-4.
Gilman in control on this point.
There's that shot off the back wall that you just cannot give her. She's too strong off the back wall.
Serving 4.
Set up off the back. Oh! She was anticipating that pinch. She was running up and covering it before Michelle ever hit it, and just laid it real soft in the corner. That was a very nice touch.
Side out back to Bevelock. Well, Tony serves from right, almost, well, she didn't that time, but before serving from just about right in the middle of the court.
But she's not varying her serves very much, which is kind of her style. She doesn't move around the box much.
Not a lot you can do with that one. Gilman with the kill and gets the side out.
Serving 4.
Good shot. That's real good strategy when you're up in the front court like that to play the ball straight down the walls. It's the quickest, fastest shot. Most of the time the players go right to the middle like Tony did.
Most difficult to get to as well.
Yeah.
So 11-4.
11, serving 4.
Gilman leading Bevelock. Michelle to serve.
Tony took a timeout. That's funny. I was just going to say, I think Tony should take a timeout right now.
And we're going to take a timeout with them. 11-4, game 1 of the women's singles finals. We'll be back to the Downtown Y in Houston, Texas in just a moment. We're looking at the Downtown YMCA here in Houston, where the women's singles finals, good crowd on hand this afternoon as well. And that lady right there leading Tony Bevelock here in game 1, 11-4.
The women's open finals. Michelle Gilman is
Gilman to serve.
Tony Bevelock's receiving. The score is 11, serving 4.
Tough shot. Nice flat kill forehand.
Bevelock with the side out. As you said, the forehand kill.
That's a perfect kill when it takes its second bounce before that short line of the service box.
Bevelock, impressive resume as well.
Well, she won this championship 2 years ago in 1988. She played very tough on the Women's Pro Tour. Was ranked as high as number 3 at one point.
Second serve.
Actually, both of them are playing a lot to each other's forehand, because that is definitely Michelle's weaker side too, if you can call it weak. But it's not as strong as her backhand is.
Scores 5.
Serving 11. Tony Bevelock.
Smart shot.
Nice.
Tony's stuck in the back. It's a long way to run. Get that pin shot.
Scores 11, serving 5.
See, the player raises the racket, and when they bring the racket down, they're ready to receive the serve.
You get 10 seconds. 10 seconds to compose yourself. Oops, hinder ball. Oh, avoidable. An avoidable is when you take away the person's setup shot. So the ref is calling that Tony had the offensive opportunity, and Michelle took it away. Michelle says, well, I don't care. Take that.
I don't think she agreed with the call, but I would not want to make her mad.
Let's see if she turns around and looks at the referee on that one.
Scores 11, 5.
Calls it ace.
No, they're calling for the appeal.
Serve good. There's been an appeal. I called the serve good. I can't see Malia's call.
Both line judges agreed. They both put their thumbs up, so it's been called an ace.
Yeah, you see it right on the line. Player Bevelock raises her hand, calling for an appeal. Very nice serve for Gilman. 12-5.
Is 12, serving 5.
Best 2 out of 3 will play to 15.
That's Michelle's style right there, is that she has tough serves. You barely get them, you give her a setup, and then she puts the ball away. It's called 3-shot rallies.
You know what was tough about that as well, though? She had a tough get, you know, to get back to the back of the court. Had a long way to run.
Second serve.
Nice. Right down the right wall.
So Bevelock refuses to go quietly.
That's her style.
Oh, yeah.
She'll start yelling sometime in here. Come on, Tony.
13-5, Bevelock to serve.
Hadn't called the score yet. We're on. Let's play ball. Score is 5, serving 13.
Because of Michelle's length and strength, she can take her wrist and the ball can be behind her. She can snap her wrist and still get off shots with power. That amazes me more than anything else that she does.
Key word there is with power, not just getting it back onto the wall.
With power.
Bevelock got the forehand kill, but you saw on the return of serve why they stay away from the backhand.
The crowd's starting to respond here. They want Tony to score a few more points. The players love it when the crowd gets into it. They would rather you screamed for the other person as long as you're screaming.
Oh, they were into it yesterday, though. Just about all of the semifinal matches were pretty darn good matches. And
loud and rowdy. That's what racquetball's all about.
The crowd was very responsive.
Tony had the pinch there, just couldn't put it down. Good straight down the line. Michelle's in the front part of the court. Smartest shot to hit.
19-year-old out of Ontario, Oregon. Freshman at Boise State. She leads it right now.
Tough. Backhand. I'm sorry, but Michelle does not look 19. Never has, never will.
5, serving 13.
But when you're 19, that's a compliment. It's just when you get a little bit older, that's when you wish you looked 19.
Yeah. That was one of the smartest rallies that Tony played, starting with a jam serve. When you have a player as big as Michelle, if you put the ball into their body, they can't unleash those long arms and legs. You can get some weak returns.
Saw the positioning.
Score is 6, serving 13.
Bevelock serving, trailing 13-6.
Good. Cut up.
Side out back to Gilman.
13, serving 6.
Now, Michelle has been on the 13 mark here for quite some time.
She doesn't have that look on her face yet, though, that tells her it's time to pump up.
Point.
Now, game point. Michelle Gilman leading Tony Bevelock 14-6.
Ace.
Ooh. So what a way to end game 1.
Well, Tony will appeal.
I called the serve good. There's been an appeal. I called it good. What's the call over here?
Ooh, Carl overruled. That's when both lines just disagree.
The call has been overruled.
Tough to tell.
I thought it was good, but what do I know? We're stuck here in the back.
Second serve coming. Play ball.
Gilman with the second serve. At game point.
Well, I guess it's a moot point.
Nothing to appeal on that.
Score was 15-6.
So Gilman takes game 1 handily. We'll be back for game 2, the best 2 out of 3, the women's singles finals, in just a moment. Special 1990 U.S. National Singles offer. Contact the National AARA office for membership information. Mention the U.S. Nationals and receive a free can of racquetballs. You can call them at 719-635-5396, or you can send a fax to area code 719-635-0685. Kevin Eschenfelder and Lynn Adams, the #1 professional in the world, back here at the downtown YMCA in Houston, Texas, where Michelle Gilman had her way in game 1 over Tony Bevelock, 15-6. Michelle pretty much in control the whole time.
Definitely. It's a sign of a good player when you can be not playing at your best and you're still in control. And that's a real disconcerting feeling to the other person. And they're trying so hard, and they're just still losing points.
She is the defending champion, as she won it here a year ago, about 6 days after she graduated from high school. 19 years old, freshman at Boise State out of Ontario, Oregon, Michelle Gilman. Now, what's going through the mind of Tony Bevelock right now?
I would imagine that Tony's feeling right now that she's got a game under her belt, she's got her nerves out. She has to feel like she can come back. She's got to either be faking herself out, telling herself that she can, or literally believing it.
As we said earlier, she won it a couple of years ago, so Tony Bevelock, no stranger to the finals.
Linda.
Yeah, actually, Michelle played Tony in that 1988 championship, and Tony defeated Michelle that 2 years ago. And the last time that they have played was in January of this year at our Santa Ana Pro Stop. They played in the quarterfinals, and Michelle beat her in a tiebreaker, had won the first 2 games easily. Everyone kind of wrote it off, and Tony came back and won the next 2, and then they went the tiebreaker. So this match is not over by any means.
As we've said, Michelle Gilman, the winner here last year, but more impressively than that, she hasn't lost since then. It's been almost
in amateur play.
Right.
Yeah.
And she has been awfully tough. So here at the downtown YMCA in Houston, Texas, Michelle Gilman won the first game 15-6. She leads 1-0 over Tony Bevelock. There you see 15-6 in the game 1. And Gilman was in control from the get-go, and that lady right there, Tony Bevelock, she's going to have to make some adjustments here in game 2.
I would think that if she can play the ball tighter into Michelle's body, keep the ball a little bit higher, can hit the ball off the back wall. And that is definitely a big strength of Michelle's, is coming off the back wall.
Tony Bevelock, no stranger to the finals here, as she won it a couple of years ago and defeated, I believe, in the quarterfinals, this very same Michelle Gilman.
Actually, she played Michelle in the finals of this tournament 2 years ago. The last time that they played was in January of this year at one of the pro stops in Santa Ana, California, and they played in the quarterfinals there with Michelle beating Tony in the tiebreaker.
Gilman, impressive resume as she won it last year and hasn't lost an amateur event since, so she is on some kind of roll.
She's cooking.
Getting set to serve here in game 2. A reminder coming up a little later, Tim Doyle and Egan Inouye will go at it in the men's finals, and we'll be bringing you that as well. Also, we'll be taking a look here at the end of this match at some of the wheelchair event that competition wrapped up yesterday. So Michelle Gilman set to serve here in game 2. She won the first one 15-6. Those are the ones you have to put away.
Ball, you got to put that away. I mean, she had a clean setup in the middle. She should have pinched the right corner and just put the ball away, gotten it over with.
Score is 0, serving 0. That was a good serve. Line judges, I called
Ref called it an ace.
There's been an appeal. I called it good. Let's call it here.
Tony appealed and they upheld the call, so it was an ace.
I'm scoring the point.
So 1-0.
Score is 1-0.
Michelle Gilman from Ontario, Oregon, leading.
Second serve.
Throughout the match, Gilman has stayed almost exclusively to Bevelock's forehand side.
There was a whole nother rally all on one side of the court.
The book on Bevelock is stay away from the backhand, and that is what Michelle Gilman has done.
Nice clean kill right down the right side.
2, serving 0.
Michelle Gilman serving, leading 2-0.
She gets that backhand, she just pulls those shoulders back and she rips it.
There she's talking to herself.
That's the Tony I know.
Tony Bevelock serving, score 0, serving 2. Second serve.
Second serve.
Now she's moving around the box a little bit.
That's good.
As a player, you look at a shot like that, the ball went into Michelle's body. It's coming in. She has no swing at it. Even though she killed the ball, it's a lucky shot.
Yeah.
You can't worry about the lucky shots. She had no control over where that shot went.
If you're Bevelock, at least it didn't cost you a point. It was only the side out. Ooh, that's nice.
It goes back to that discipline that we were talking about earlier, is that when she gets in the front, she goes right down that wall every single time.
Very few unforced errors for Gilman.
Score 3, serving 0.
Working her up and back.
Yep. That's what pinches do. They make you run and you get sweaty and you can't breathe.
Gilman keeps her deep and then
Makes her
the
run.
pinch shot. And then back deep again.
Tony's just scrambling everywhere.
4, serving 0.
4-0 Michelle Gilman serving and leading. There you saw the backhand.
Nice cross-court pass. Michelle's coming out of the box, anticipating to her backhand. There's no way to turn and get around.
Serving 4.
This is an interesting motion here. A backhand serve.
Point hinder. It's called.
He called an avoidable on that, and that Tony had a setup off the back wall, and Michelle was moving in and out of the ball, getting in the way there, having to duck under it. Tony can't see it.
So they replay the point.
No, Tony gets
it
the
is the
point.
point?
Tony gets a point. That's what a point hinder or an avoidable hinder is.
Serving 4.
How often do you see a player serve with the backhand?
It's very rare. There's only a couple players that do it. Ooh! An ace with her backhand.
I think they're going to override it.
Oh!
Let's take a look.
Yeah, he's calling it short. Tony appeals.
Short. Appeal. I called it short. I called
Take a look here.
Short.
Ooh.
Oh, they overruled it. That's hot. That means she gets a point.
Get into it, Lynn.
On second thought, I agree with you, okay? There was no return of it, and my call didn't affect the replay. I'm going to score the point.
So they score the point.
They have scored a point on an ace. Play ball, the score is
The crowd goes crazy. They like
serving
it.
4.
Now, the reason that she gets that point is because even though he called the ball short, it was a crack ace, and he ruled that Michelle could not have gotten it, even though he called it short. So that is a referee's judgment, whether it is a point or not a point.
Michelle, do you appeal? In line it is I called Michelle Gilman's last shot a skip ball. There's been an appeal. I called it a skip ball. Scoring the point.
Ooh, Tony's getting into it now.
You see Otto
You
Dietrich.
have 2 left. The score is 3, serving 4.
Bevelock made up some ground, although the side out back to Gilman. 4 serving 3.
Boy, I tell you, it's so tough on these serves. Both players are playing their serves so close to the line, which is the best way to play. You'd rather have it short than go long, but it puts a lot of pressure on a referee.
Skip. Point.
5-3, Gilman leads. That one skipped in for Tony.
3.
Game 2, first game went to Gilman 15-6. Second serve.
Second serve.
Oh, man. I hate those. That was all wrist.
Take a look at it here.
There's no way.
Talked about it earlier.
No way. I mean, she's talking to the ball all the way up, too.
Serving 3.
That's great.
Gilman leads 6-3. Second serve again.
Second serve.
Right at her body, she gets a setup. Cannot give your setups away like that, Tony. Come on.
Called the shot good.
7-3, take a look.
Lined it is. I called
Got it
the
into
last
her
shot
body.
by Michelle
There's a
Gilman.
setup
Good.
right there.
There's been an appeal. I called it
Keeps
good.
it going, has another setup, gives another setup away.
So the call stands. I'm scoring the point. That's an appeal used, Tony. You have 2 appeals left.
Gilman
Score.
serving, leading 7-3.
7, serving 3.
It's interesting, we were at 4-3 and things were close and tight, and now all of a sudden there's that gap again, and Michelle looks totally in control. And that wrist, I think we should cut that wrist off.
Talk about the wrist, there it is.
Good get by Tony, and then she just boo, flicks it.
Nothing you can do with it. Now Gilman's missed on her last 3 first serves. See what she does here.
But they're all real close. She should have missed again.
Tony Bevelock, 24-year-old out of Santa Ana, California. Go back to the backhand.
Good down the line to the forehand. Actually, that was smart on Tony's part to go to the backhand because that's where she had her success to score those points in the beginning part of the game.
Side out back to Gilman.
Tough backhand. From up high, that's a real tough shot to make when you're up above your head and you have to use just all shoulder strength.
Does she hit the backhand about as well as anybody else that you play against?
Yes. She has one of the strongest backhands on the tour.
Well, Bevelock gets the side out. She's trailing 8-3. Nice kill. And now the appeal. Nope, she didn't appeal it.
She probably looked out at a friend. Said, should I appeal it or not?
Serving score is 8, serving 3.
They have an appeal rule here where you can only appeal 3 times unless one of the line judges agrees with you. Then it doesn't count in your appeals. So the players are real cautious about what they appeal and what they don't.
Second serve again.
Bevelock was not ready to receive serve.
Set up off the back wall. Can't do it.
Last 2 points, Bevelock, well, Gilman, I should say, really looks like she has been on the offensive, and she leads right now. We'll come back. Women's singles finals from the YMCA here in Houston, Texas. We'll be back in a moment. Back at the downtown YMCA in Houston, Texas. Kevin Eschenfelder along with Lynn Adams. Right now, Gilman leading Bevelock 9-3 in game 2. It's the second serve. Michelle Gilman and Tony Bevelock. There's the wrist again.
Oh, a pinch finally. That was a smart play.
Side out back to Bevelock.
Michelle barely gets it, leaves a setup in the front court. Boy, when you got someone deep in the back court like that, you got a pinch on them.
Serving 9.
Bevelock looking to get back in. She's trailing 9-3.
Second serve.
Right down the right wall. I asked her, Michelle has such a toughness about her on the court. She's very mentally tough and very disciplined. She told me that she grew up playing a lot of hostile people because she was so young, beating everybody, that she just got used to people not liking her, not wanting to play her. And she said nothing phases her on the court anymore. She just gets out there and she's so determined to win.
And a very nice young lady off the court.
She's great. Cross-court pass by Tony.
Gilman won it 15-6 in game 1. And Bevelock with the point here.
Ooh.
That's tough, coming all the way around.
Yeah.
Score is 3.
And a kill shot. Tony Bevelock, 1990 doubles champion in the Tournament of Americas.
Her partner was Malia Bailey, who also plays on both the amateur and the professional tour.
Bevelock with the point. Recapping a bit, Gilman went out to a 4-0 lead, and Bevelock came right back with 3 points of her own. It's been Gilman since then. She leads 9-4.
I'm sure I'm belaboring this point, but I'm just so impressed with how consistent and precise Michelle is in sticking with her game plan.
How much has Michelle improved over the last 2 years?
We don't even want to talk about it. I have seen that improvement up close and personal.
Have That's a pretty nasty look you had on your face right there.
It's a good thing there's no camera.
Michelle Gilman.
Tough overhead. Takes a lot of power to hit that shot hard and low like that from way up high when you contact it.
Take a look at it here.
It's up above her, around her head. And she just flattened it on the bottom part of the wall.
Very powerful. 10-4. But on this level, it's not just a matter of how hard you hit it. I think it's more important where you hit it.
Where you place it, exactly. And if you can do both, oof, that's a sign of a real tough player.
Second serve.
Ooh.
Good shot. Point.
Down the wall kill shot.
It died right there. Did not watch. It won't bounce back. It'll roll back.
Roll.
Second timeout. She has one remaining.
There you see it.
We were talking about the perfect kill.
That's it. Gilman leads right now 11-4. And Bevelock will take a timeout, and we'll take a timeout with them. We'll be back in just a moment to the Downtown Y in Houston, Texas. Downtown YMCA in Houston. Echelon U.S. National Singles Finals, looking at the women this afternoon. As right now,
okay, let's resume play.
Michelle Gilman leading big over Tony Bevelock.
Game 2. Tony Bevelock's receiving. The score is 11.
I think at this point,
4.
Tony's got to go to something totally different than she's done the whole time. She's got to manufacture some aggression just to help
Second
get
serve.
herself into it. She should be hitting tons of ceiling balls or go to total lob serves. If she gets a setup off the back wall instead of shooting it, maybe go up to the ceiling and try to get Michelle out of a rhythm. But she just can't play straight racquetball at this point.
Side out back to Bevelock. Gilman leading 11-4.
4, serving 11.
Michelle Gilman won game 1, 15-6. Best 2 out of 3. Just cranked point. There the crowd getting on the side of Tony Bevelock after that nice shot.
Scores 5, serving
Crowd
11.
always loves the underdog.
And coming from someone ranked #1 in the world, didn't sound too impressed by it.
It's just something you get used to. And it's actually kind of fun.
Do you pretend they're cheering for you?
Scores 11.
Well, you get a kick out of trying to keep them quiet. That's your goal. And they'll change allegiances real fast if all of a sudden the top player gets down. They'll start cheering for you.
My judges, I think you know that Michelle's get that's being appealed. I called it one bounce, and it was a good get. There's been an appeal. Agrees?
Now the
Both
appeal
players
here,
agree.
they're
Scoring
talking
the
about
point.
a screen or a hinder.
She didn't think that Michelle got the
That's
get.
another appeal used, Tony. You have one remaining plus a game point.
So that's what Tony was appealing. And then to have Michelle get a lucky crack, like she needs it.
Play
I'm sure
ball.
Tony is a little frustrated at
Scores
this point.
12-5. Gilman leads.
Second serve. That's good.
13-5.
Michelle's just kind of been camping out around the center court area up there. Not much is getting by her.
Scores 13, serving 5.
Best 2 out of 3. Gilman won the first.
Second serve.
Here's the Tony backhand.
Bevelock gets it back.
Tony had 2 good backhands in a row there that forced weak returns.
Score is 5, serving 13.
So Tony down. Gonna have to get some work down here.
So smart. As soon as she gets Tony off behind her, she just pinches that corner. Rolls the ball out.
There it is.
There's a setup.
Coming up.
One of the things when you play a player that hits the ball as hard as Michelle does, sometimes setups
13,
that look like setups aren't really setups because the ball comes into your body so much faster than you're ready for.
Also, there's so much power there that it's such an added factor because you don't know to stay deep. And she pinches and she beats you short.
Score is 5, serving 13.
Bevelock back to serve. Trailing 5-13. Tony Bevelock. Nice.
Set up.
There's that look. I hadn't seen it most of the match until just then. That look that she wants it. She wants to close it out. She doesn't want to mess around. We might see a big boom and serve right here. Ooh, very close. A lot of power on that serve.
Second serve.
Second serve for Gilman. Skip.
Shut out.
Tony's hanging in there.
Tony Bevelock serving. Score is 5, serving 13.
Bevelock to serve, trailing 5-13.
Second serve.
You know, I was looking for her to go back to that backhand serve. She really got on a roll early with that.
Set out.
Wow,
Timeout has been called by Michelle Gilman. That's her first timeout. Resume play. The score will be 13, serving 5.
We will take a timeout with them. We're at the downtown YMCA, the women's singles finals of the AARA. Where you see the story. We'll be back to finish it up in just a moment. Kevin Eschenfelder and Lynn Adams back at the downtown YMCA, where that young lady right there looks like she is well on to winning her second consecutive AARA singles championship.
Tony had her chances, just couldn't quite put it in there. Michelle's a digger. She just keeps going after the ball, going after the ball.
Can't give Gilman that many shots.
That many chances.
14,
you're right.
Serving 5.
Match point, 14-5.
Skip ball.
Point and championship.
And that's it. Michelle Gilman, the 1990 AARA Women's Singles Champion. We're going to take a timeout, and we'll come back. We will talk it over with Michelle Gilman. That'll be coming up in just a moment. Again, Gilman wins it 15-6, 15-5. Back at the downtown YMCA here in Houston. Michelle Gilman, you were in control from the start.
Yeah, it felt good today. It really did. I knew that I had to go in and take control early of the match, and I did.
Congratulations. I mean, you win the women's pro last week. This week you come back with the amateurs. I don't think these women it's no fun anymore. I mean, come on.
I like the age of 19. It's treated me very well so far. I'm enjoying myself.
Talk about the do's and don'ts that you had to do in this match. I mean, it seemed like from everything that we saw, everything went Michelle Gilman's way, and it's been like that all week long.
Yeah, I've had a pretty good solid week. I think I built up my confidence confidence last week at the Pro Nationals when I competed and did really well. And I knew coming into this, a lot of the same people that are playing this played last week. So I knew how they were playing, and I knew that I was in control as long as I went in and played my game.
Let's take a look at the final point. Go ahead and analyze it for us.
I had to get my serve in. For a long time, I was not getting my serve in. Right there, I got it in, and she skipped the return and came off the sidewall and jammed her a little bit.
Well, congratulations, 1990 AARA champion. Best of luck to you in the future. When we come back, we're going to take a look at some of the wheelchair competition. That'll be coming up from here at the Downtown Y.